Okay, so how do you make God a partner so that God will rescue you? Because he's not going to force his way in, is he? That's false ideas make you afraid of God. If you're afraid of God, you're not going to say, please, God, help, because you're thinking, man, I better run.
Yeah, God's, I think the big picture of Revelation is God is inviting us to trust in him and not have to be afraid of him. And so he's saying, listen, I'm inviting you to make me your partner. And we can just simply do that today by talking to him and asking him. And that, in effect, that gives God permission to rescue us. God's a gentleman. He doesn't just invade in our lives. We have to say, God, be a partner in my life. And as we look into the Bible stories, we see that people from the Old Testament had this experience, like Abraham, for example.
Yeah, tell us about his story.
So Abraham's a man who said, God, I'm willing to trust you and be partners with you in life. And the end product of that is God blessed him, made him the father of many nations. In fact, Abraham's the father of Arabia today and Israel today, and the major religions of...
Christianity, Muslim world, exactly. Christian world. Wow. And he left Babylon.
Yes.
Yes, because Abraham grew up in Babylon. His Babylon was going to collapse. God said, get out of there, and I'm going to make you a father of many nations. That's a powerful point to think about, isn't it? That God can rescue you if you become a partner. Well, how did God and Abraham become friends, become partners?
Well, there's 2 points. The first one, you've mentioned how, when God asked him to leave Babylon, he obeyed.
Okay.
Yeah. The second was he actually asked God to be his business partner in life.
Okay.
Yeah, and he actually paid a 10%, like Michelle was talking about, paid a 10% back to God.
Oh, Abraham did the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was blessed in many ways.
So let's explore this just a touch. What's the point of the 10%? Is it that God needs money, the church needs money, the priest needs money, the poor people need money?
Well, I guess that's true, but God owns everything.
Okay.
So he's just asking for a small bit back.
So it's a way of saying, God, will you be my partner?
Yeah, you're the owner of everything. Hey, I'm just like business partners. You share the profits.
You share and share alike?
Yeah.
Okay, so share a bit with God and he intervenes in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, last week we heard, though, that Babylon, just heading for a little bit of a deeper point, isn't just about financial stuff, really. It's about false ideas.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. So is there a bigger meaning to Revelation 18 than just God will help you?
There is a deeper meaning, you're definitely right. And yet the deeper meaning doesn't eclipse the simple fact that God's going to rescue us in financial crisis and in our time of need. In fact, I think the deeper meaning, if anything, says that God will be able to rescue us from all kinds of emergencies. Okay. God's out there looking for people who are wanting to rely on him. Remember, God is not a distant God. He's God who wants a relationship, and it's an open door of invitation.
Okay, well, it's an Old Testament story about Babylon collapsing 500 or 600 years before Christ. Tell us, Marie, what happened to God's people?
Yeah, well, initially, about, like you mentioned, 600 years before Christ, Babylon actually went and conquered Jerusalem and took a lot of people captive. But then Babylon fell in one night when the Persian Empire came and overthrew Babylon. However, through that, many people were killed, but God protected his own people, those that followed him. And, and eventually the Persian Empire allowed them to go back home and rebuild Jerusalem.
Okay.
And of course, that's the same with us now. You know, God calls us to leave Babylon and he wants to take us home.
Okay, okay. So, Ben, what does that kind of mean? Bring it across today a bit more.
Well, I think that Revelation 17 talks about that Babylon's false ideas and so forth. And here in Revelation 18, we see that it's actually, the angel announces that it's the glory of God that transforms things. And the great news here is that the glory of God's not something to be afraid of. The glory of God is his power, his forgiveness, his love. This is not something to be afraid of. This is something that we can be excited about in our lives.
Man, so what dispels false ideas or darkness is actually the story of God's great love that's travelling the world.
That's absolutely right.
We only got 10 seconds, but there's only 3 words in one of the most famous books of the Bible. What does it say, Ben?
God is love.
If all you can remember through life is that God is love, he's real, he's magnificent, he intervenes in daily affairs, he rescues you from so many different situations, why wouldn't you say yes? Trust him, because God-sized answers are always sent with love.